Hey, what's going on, everybody? Ryan here with Wholesale Universe. Look, I told you we were going to talk about how to make your first $1 million. With us here at Wholesale Universe over the last 4 years, we've made over $6 million, heading towards $7 million total in sales. A lot of that's coming from retail. Some of it's coming from wholesale. But I wanted to talk to you about how to do this. No matter what business you're in, this really kind of applies for any business that you're in, especially in the retail business where you're selling products online and offline. So I'm going to go over these, and as I go over each one, there's 6 points that I want to make, and actually 7 down here at the bottom I didn't have a chance to add. I'm going to walk you through our warehouse and through our building and show you and give you examples of each one of these. All right, so first we want to talk about is number 1, find something to sell. Okay, find something to sell. It's as simple as that. That's what I was first told when I got in business is, it doesn't matter what you sell, find something to sell. Let me show you what I found to sell. All right, so the first thing that we started selling when we were in business was this bedding right here. So we did bedding. We also did stuff like handbags as well. So if you're looking to start out, you just got to find something. Obviously, we sell more shoes now, and I'll pan around in a second and show you the shoes and the clothing. We sell more shoes and clothing than we do bedding and handbags, but bedding and handbags is where we started. So on step number 1, like we just talked about, if you're looking to make that first $1 million, you need to start somewhere and just start finding a product to sell. Though it's still not the primary product that we sell, it's still an item that we do sell, and it sold very well at the time, and it helped slingshot us off into the business that we're in now. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Number 2, offer the products online and offline. Okay, in today's world, there are people that still want to go shop inside of a building, and there's people that will not go to a building and only want to buy online. All right, we used to be one-dimensional and only sold on one place online, and then we started selling in a retail store. Now I want to show you our online and our offline presence. So let me show you exactly what we do to sell online and offline. Hey, so this is our area in the back where we sell a quality control check and then upload the products and sell them on Amazon, on Poshmark, on Mercari, on Shopify, and many more platforms. So we sell online and we sell offline. I'll take you in a minute and show you our retail store, but you've got to do both. You've got to be selling on online platforms, Shopify or your own website, Amazon, Poshmark, Mercari, eBay. It doesn't matter. Find a platform that works for you and use it. Right now everybody's on lunch, which is why I'm able to do this video, but we have 2 quality control stations right there and then 3 upload stations right here where people upload products online into these e-commerce platforms that we sell on. All right, we also have this room right here where Candace quality control checks and uploads products and also ships them out for when they sell on Poshmark, on Shopify, and on Mercari as well. So as you can see, we sell offline in our retail store as well. Selling offline is a big portion of our retail business, and it should be a big portion of yours as well. All right, people still want to come in and shop just like they want to buy online. Personally, me, I've sold millions of products online, but I've never purchased anything online. Bonnie does all the shopping on Amazon and shopping on Poshmark, Mercari, those other platforms. I personally go into retail stores. So I know that there are both sets of buyers. There are buyers that want to go in and shop and want to see the products and want to see the inventory directly in front of their hands and in front of their face. And there's people that can just go online and know exactly what they want. All right, so you have to sell online and you have to sell offline just like we do in our retail store. We started out with a very small retail store down in Houston, Texas, and ultimately the retail store started inside of our 3rd-story 2-bedroom apartment. Okay, what you see inside of here used to be all inside of an apartment at a very smaller scale, very much smaller scale, and we had shoes and clothing and bedding on the tables, in the drawers, in the kitchen, in the cabinets, and then ultimately we expanded into an actual retail store. So it wasn't always this big, but ultimately you need to be selling online and offline. All right, let's go to number 3. Number 3, work hard and do what's required. Okay, when I first started in business, in order to make my first $1 million, I was working around 20 hours a day. Okay, 18, 20, sometimes upwards of 22 hours a day, doing what was required to build my company and make that first $1 million. Now, I get my 8 hours of sleep, and I fully believe in getting my 8 hours of sleep, and I enjoy that time of rest. But When I was first starting, I was working 18 to 22 hours a day doing what was required to build the business and get it running. Okay, let me show you now some of what that hard work has done. So number 3 is working hard and doing what's required. All right, so when we first started in this business, it was 18 to 22 hour days and there was a lot of work required. Right, Bonnie?
That's right.
Okay, how much work have you put into this thing?
Nights, long, hard nights. A lot of brainstorming with Ryan, figuring out processes and procedures that needed to be improved and more efficient, delegating out tasks, and really, we don't stop until it's done. And every single day we have new tasks and new targets that need to be met, and things are always evolving. So we're constantly doing what's required and working hard every single day to complete those tasks and continue growing as well.
All right, so there's a lot of hard work that goes into building a business, especially if you want to make your first million. I didn't say your first 1,000 or your first 100,000. I said your first million. Okay, $1 million, it has to be done with the team. There's a lot of work required to do it. But now, do we work 18 to 22 hour days now?
No, we don't. But if we do, like now that it's Christmas time, we are putting in a lot more extra work. But that's what it takes to build a team. And a lot of times when you're starting out small, you don't have that team. So you have to do what's required in order to start making the income that it takes to be able to employ somebody else to take a little bit of work off your hands. And that's how you really start compounding the workload so that you can grow your business. But it has to be a balance, because you can't have sales slow down, because then how are you going to pay that extra help? So you have to do what's required starting out in business and do more than just an 8 hour day, so that way you can start making the funds that it requires to start employing more help. So it's just a process.
Isn't she beautiful?
Stop.
Number 4, build a team. Okay, I can't make the $1 million over and over and over by myself. That's just not sustainable long term. My hair would be falling out. I'd be losing my mind. So I built a team. Let me show you some of our team members and what they do here at Wholesale Universe. All right, so when I talk about growing a team, I actually mean growing a team. We've got Bonnie, we've got Trey here. They're doing some admin work on the front end. Trey, he'd get mad if I tell you he's doing admin work. So Trey, he does all the warehouse work, does the construction work in the back. But he's also up here helping do some of the admin work with Bonnie, putting some plans together. So you've got to have people in the front end office, and I'm going to show you where else you need people within your business too. So at some point in business, you're also going to need a sales team. This is Whitney, this is Kevin. They're part of our sales team. They also do customer service, do support. Kevin also does brand approvals. Whitney also uploads products into Amazon and does quality control checking as well, and does brand approvals too. And Kevin would upload products into Amazon and has done that before. Both of you have actually done everything within this company, correct?
Yes. Started out QC and shoes.
Started out QC and shoes.
Me too.
Same thing with her, and that's why they've been able to move up to sales. So not only do we have front-end admin work, but we also have sales and customer support and client support inside of here as well. Let's go and see some other people within here. Now, if you'll notice, Whitney's back over here again. So we have Dawn, we have Whitney, we have Brittany inside of here, and Candace, I think, is outside in the retail store. I'll show you them. But what they're doing is quality control checking inventory and then uploading it into Amazon over here. So this is our back-end support team that quality control checks inventory, makes sure it's absolutely perfect, and takes care of products on the front end. They're our first line of defense back here with making sure that products look perfect. All right, so you not only need a front-end team, okay, to do admin work, you not only need a sales and customer support team, but you also need a product support team and receiving team that can look over your inventory and make sure that it looks great. Let's go look at everybody else. All right, so this is Candace right here. Candace runs the retail store. She also uploads into Shopify and into Poshmark for us. So she kind of goes back and forth in between making this store look great, making sure to check people out on the register, and also doing Poshmark as well. Anything else that you do inside of here?
All kinds of things.
Yeah, I know that. It's not just that. I would be doing a disservice in saying that you only do that. So
Pretty much anything that needs to be done, like I'm on call.
shipping out Poshmark boxes, mystery boxes, all sorts of stuff. So Candace kind of goes back and forth, and we can trust her to do those things. So not only do you need admin in the front office, not only do you need salesmen and customer service reps, not only do you need people doing quality control check and inspecting inventory and receiving inventory in, you need somebody that you can trust within your business to run your register, handle the money, open and close, also uploading products onto other e-commerce platforms, and also handling customer issues inside of here as well.
And thrive.
and thrive. Okay, another brand that we're included in that we sell. She ships out products for that as well. So there's a lot that you do inside of here.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll see you back in the warehouse. And before we go to the warehouse, just let me show you what the retail store looks like. And Candace and Natalie have set this up. Natalie's on lunch, but we'll take a video of her here in a little while too.
You hear Candace?
What?
She said our janitor. That's cold, man. Thanks, Candace.
Hold on, I'm going to put it right here. Yeah, keep on pushing that stuff, Trey.
Oh, man. That's unreal.
All right, last but not least, you need a janitor. No, I'm just kidding. You need a warehouse manager, so the warehouse manager can oversee everything. Trey,
Yes.
is there anything in this warehouse where you don't know where it's at?
I know where everything's at.
Knows where everything's at. Trey helps us do build outs inside of here. He knows where all the products are at. He sees the pallets when they come in. And so when we're talking about building a team, you have to have all of this in place. You have to have the front end admin. You have to have the sales and customer support. You have to have people quality control checking your inventory. You have to have somebody running your store and helping you upload onto these platforms as well, like Candace does. You also have to have somebody that manages your warehouse like Trey does, because we can't oversee everything. So you need somebody that knows this space and can do this very well. All right, so let's go on to the next points and let's talk about the next point that we were going to talk about. Number 5, do not quit scaling. Okay, you're not just going to go reach a point and go sideways and say, hey, we've made it. This is all we want to do. You're either scaling or you're losing. And let me show you what I mean by scaling and some of the things that we're doing right now to scale our business. Check this out. All right, so the next thing is don't stop scaling, okay? If we would have stopped scaling inside of our 3rd-story, 2-bedroom apartment, then we wouldn't be where we're at today. Now, I would have never imagined within 4 years, I would have a 10,000 square foot warehouse with a big retail store, selling on our own platforms. And this is a lot of inventory inside of here, not including what we have inside of our own e-commerce Amazon FBA accounts as well. All right, so we've got thousands of pieces of products inside of this warehouse, and we have hundreds of pallets that are going to be coming in over the span of 2020. Okay, we've probably got around 100 to 150 that we're going to order in January to February alone to come inside of this warehouse. So don't stop scaling. If you don't stop scaling, you will eventually have a warehouse this size as well. And it only happened because we didn't quit and we didn't try to level off or be content with where we're at. We try to keep on going, and that's what you should do as well. Number 6, figure out how to service debt, pay yourself, and buy more inventory. Okay, I'm going to go into detail with this out in my warehouse and show you about servicing debt, talk about paying myself, and showing you how we've scaled inventory. Okay, this is where a lot of people get hung up, and this is where you might start failing or feeling like you're failing. But if you can manage all 3 of these together, servicing your debt, paying yourself, and scaling up with more inventory, you ultimately start winning. And the last thing down here that I want to talk about, make mistakes. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Okay, I've made hundreds upon thousands of mistakes here in business, but all I've done is figured out hundreds upon thousands of ways not to successfully run this business, which is ultimately why I'm successful now, is because I made mistakes early on. So don't be afraid to fail. Fail quickly, fail fast, and fail forward. And I promise you, making mistakes is part of the game. Okay, let me show you a few mistakes that I've made as well. All right, so number 6. All right, figuring out how to service debt, pay yourself, and buy more inventory. I was going to come in here and actually do a video somewhere else within the warehouse, but I figured it would be best if I did this just here on the whiteboard. So I might erase some things in a minute, may not. But look, this is the biggest problem and the biggest key. If you could figure this out, you start ultimately winning in business. Know that this takes time, okay? Because your business and your products, they have to start turning. Your products have to start turning. You have to scale up, and then you can start paying yourself. For the first little while in business, you're going to be servicing debt, and you're also going to be buying more inventory. You may not be able to pay yourself at first. Okay, the first couple of months in business, we didn't pay ourselves. Look, I kid you not when I say this. My bank account, when we first started, was $0, my personal bank account. Okay, what we would do is we had a personal bank account and a business bank account. The business bank account when we first started may have had $1,000 in there. Okay, but let's say that I had to go to the store and buy groceries. If I needed groceries, what I would do is I would go check out groceries and if the groceries were $100, I would get in line, go to my banking app, and transfer $100 over from my business banking account over to my personal banking account and spend that $100 and then leave it with zero in there, okay? The reason I did that, so I knew exactly how much money I had in my bank account so I could service my debt when I needed to, and I could also buy more inventory. I would service, when I first started up, I would service the most minimal amount of debt that I could and use the rest of that money to go buy more inventory. So let's say that I owed, $2,000 on a loan. If I had $10,000 in the bank, if I owed $2,000 on a loan, I would pay that $2,000, especially when it was just me and Bonnie working there. I would pay that $2,000, leave maybe $1,000 in there, and go spend, the rest of that money, the other $7,000 on inventory that I could come back and turn and make a profit on. Ultimately, the account would go from 1,000 to 5 to 10 to 20 to 30 to 50, and then I could say, hey, now I'm able to service my debt, maybe even pay down some of that debt. I have products that are turning, and I'm making profit with it. My bank account is growing. Now I can pay myself out. Okay, so that's when we started putting ourselves on a weekly or a monthly salary and said, hey, we're going to make X amount per month no matter what. Whether the company does $1 million per month or if it does $100,000 per month, I'm going to pay myself X. Okay, and so that's what we started doing, and it took 1.5 years to get to the point to where we paid ourselves a salary out. Until then, we kept our bank account at zero, transferred money over as we needed it. It was kind of a bookkeeping nightmare at first because we did our own bookkeeping. So the other thing that I would, and that's part of making mistakes, trying to do it myself, I would have hired a bookkeeping or a CPA even quicker than that, which we have them on our website. You can go to the Easier Accounting tab at wholesaleuniversepage.com. Go to that Easier Accounting tab on the top right-hand side, my left right here, your right, and you'll see Easier Accounting. Get somebody to do your bookkeeping for you because they could have helped us through this process and shown us a lot easier way. All right, so at first, you got to figure out how to service debt, pay yourself, and buy more inventory. The way to do that is to service the minimum amount of debt at first. Don't pay yourself unless you need to pay yourself, and then go buy more inventory that's going to make you more money. As you grow your bank account, maybe you can start paying yourself a little bit, and then also servicing a little bit more debt, paying down that debt instead of the minimal amount. Okay, so that's what worked for us, and I guarantee you it'll work for you. But you've got to find out what works best for you. And then I talked about making mistakes, folks. Making mistakes is part of the process. I figured out every single thing that I needed to do in business by making a mistake. I failed so many times that I figured out exactly how not to run a company, exactly how not to treat customers, exactly how not to treat staff members, exactly how not to upload products, exactly how not to run a website, not to do marketing, not to do advertising. So now I know all these ways to not do it. So when I do it correctly. I do it right the first time. Okay, so don't be afraid to make mistakes. Understand that comes with the territory, and it's part of growing a successful business. All right, so that is how to make your first $1 million. I'm telling you, if you do that, it's a lot simpler than you think. You just find products to sell, offer the products online and offline, work hard and do what's required to grow the business, build a team, do not quit scaling, figure out how to service your debt, to pay yourself, and to buy more inventory at the same time. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. You're well on your way to making your first $1 million. All right? If y'all need anything from us, go to our website, www.wholesaleuniversepage.com. Look us up on Instagram and on Facebook at Wholesale Universe. And if you have any questions, like I said, reach out to us. We will make sure that you get taken care of. Y'all have a fantastic day, and let's get ready to crush 2020 and end your 2019 strong.